You know that feeling that you get where the old way you were doing things is gone and doesn't work, but the new way hasn't shown up yet? Where you can't go back to what was, but you also can't see where things are going. And your team, they feel it. Your store feels it. You feel it. Uncomfortable uncertainty in between place where the rules have changed, but no one's handed you the new one. There's a name for that place. My colleague Greg Tansky calls it the gray space. And most leaders are living in it right now, but they're pretending that they're not. Today, I'm going to show you why the gray space isn't the problem. It's where your biggest opportunity is hiding, and so is your gross profit. 7 minutes, one truth, one execution move. If you're a leader who's tired of repeating yourself over and over again, tired of agreement and bobblehead without execution, and just worn out carrying the emotional weight of everyone else's performance, you're in the right place. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room. This isn't motivation. This isn't theory. This is a daily leadership briefing for people who actually have to produce results in the arena, at work and at home. You're in the war room now, so let's get after it. Now, I hope you've been following along all week, because Monday, we talked about the vortex, spiral that just sucks you in and pulls you under when a crisis hits. Yesterday, we talked about identity and the 5 words that pull you out of anything. Today, we're going to start somewhere different. We're going to go to the place where there is no crisis, but there's no clarity either. The gray place. Here's why it's so disorienting. In a crisis, you know at least something is wrong. There's urgency, there's adrenaline, there's a fire to fight. But in the gray space, there's no fire. There's just fog. And the fog is what makes leaders freeze, because we're trained to solve problems, not to lead when we can't even see there's a problem yet. Here's the dagger line. The old normal is gone, and it's not coming back. And the leaders who are still waiting for it to return are the ones who are falling behind right now. The gray space shows up everywhere in our industry. The way customers buy has fundamentally changed, and it's still changing. The tools you used 3 years ago to manage your team, some of them don't even work anymore. And the expectations your people have about how they want to be led, they're different. And instead of acknowledging that shift, most leaders do one of 2 things. They cling or they freeze. Clingers say, we just need to get back to basics. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes the basics is code for, I want the world to go back to the way I understood it. The freezers say, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And waiting feels responsible. But in the gray space, waiting is not neutral. Waiting is falling behind. Because while you paused, the world is still moving forward. Your competitors are still moving. Your people are still deciding whether you're the leader that they even want to follow. Do they even have confidence in? So here's your dagger line. You don't need all the answers to move forward. You just need the courage to take the next step before you can see the whole staircase. This is where the concept of minding the gap becomes everything. Stephen Covey and Viktor Frankl both teach that between every stimulus, every response, there's a space, there's a gap. Inside that gap lives the entire quality of your life, or as Frankl says, all of your freedom. Think about that. Something hits you, a message from your GM, a number that you didn't expect, a conversation that went sideways. That's the stimulus. Your reaction, that's the response. But between those 2 things, there's a gap. And what you do in that gap determines the entire quality of your life. Do you react or do you choose? Do you let your emotions drive the next move, or do you pause, even for 2 seconds, and decide who you want to be in that moment? In the London Underground, they have a phrase at every station, mind the gap. It's a warning to watch your step between the platform and the train. In leadership, minding the gap is the exact same thing. Watch the space between what happens to you and what you do next. Because that space is where leadership lives, not in the easy moments, in the gray ones. Here's today's execution move. I call this the 2-second gap. For the rest of this week, every time you receive a stimulus, something hits you, triggers you, an email, a comment, a number, a look on someone's face, I want you to pause for 2 seconds before you respond. 2 seconds. That's it. In those 2 seconds, ask one question. Is my next move going to be a reaction or a decision? Reactions come from emotion. Decisions come from identity. And the leader you're becoming, the one you've been building all week, doesn't react to the gray space. They lead through it. 2 seconds, one question, everything changes. This concept, navigating the gray space instead of freezing in it, is one of the most practical chapters in my book, Unstoppable You. Because the book isn't about having all the answers. It's about moving forward before you even have some of them. If this is resonating with you, I invite you to go to chrishunsicker.com, download a free chapter of Unstoppable You. It'll give you the frameworks for leading through uncertainty, not with false optimism and not with blind confidence, but with the kind of clarity that comes only from knowing who you are. And if you're leading a team right now that feels stuck, not in crisis, just in the fog, send them this episode. It might be exactly what they need to start moving again. Because elite leaders don't wait for the fog to clear. They start walking one step, one decision, 1 2-second gap at a time. And that is the kind of leader you're becoming. And tomorrow, I'm going to give you 5 specific tools for thriving in the gray space, not just surviving it, thriving in it. Bring a pen. So let's go out today, create some leadership fire, and I will see you tomorrow in the dealership war room.